The Brave and the Bold might be dead on arrival. Let's talk about it.
Hold on to your butts.
Yes! Yes!
I may be late to this, and this might not be good news. So yeah, I'm just gonna say it. It has been reported that Christina Hudson will be writing the DCU Batman movie titled The Brave and the Bold for James Gunn.
You fucking with me, right?
So if you don't know who Christina Hudson is, she is a Hollywood screenwriter, and I will give you some context as to why it's a bad idea for her to write this movie, especially Batman. So I'll be judging her by her works to see if she's a capable writer for Batman. She worked on Bumblebee, which was a decent movie. That's not enough for her to work on Batman. Plus, apathy already hit the Transformers franchise at this time, so it was already too little too late. We have Birds of Prey with the one fantabulous.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
I would say the fight scenes were actually really cool. That's because Warner Brothers brought in the John Wick director to reshoot those action scenes, and you can clearly tell which action scenes are his and which one aren't. Don't forget she wrote Black Mask, a villain who is nothing like his comic book counterpart. Batman villains are meant to be serious psychopaths, but in this movie, Black Mask is used as an allegory for toxic masculinity who sexually harassed women. The guy acts like a complete moron. He even dies like one too. Even the police in this movie acted like sexist nuts who harassed women and took credit for their work. Then he also had Joker, who was a sexist nut who took all the credit for woman's work.
Not that he let anyone know it. To an end.
Yeah, Joker was the evil mastermind, but the movie made it that Harley Quinn was both the brains and the brains, but Joker stole all the credit. We also have the Birds of Prey team, who are nothing like their comic book counterparts, only by name. You have Renee Montoya, who is used as a tool for toxic masculinity, and you have Black Canary, who's race swapped, who lacks no personality whatsoever. Huntress was one of the worst offenders. You can't tell me this is Helena Rosa. Seriously, what the hell?
What's up with this bow and arrow stick?
It's not a fucking bow and arrow. It's
Shut up! Get out!
We also have Cassandra Cain, a highly trained, well-respected assassin who would go toe-to-toe with Batman, is a whiny little brat who acts as the movie's damsel in distress. She also wrote The Flash, which I won't really blame her entirely. There are many factors that led to this movie's downfall, but she was still involved and wrote this cringy scene.
My ego's far too big to say thank you to someone else.
All-powerful persona to compensate for my childhood trauma.
I know sex exists, I've just never experienced it.
Nigga, what?
She also wrote the Batgirl movie, which was deemed unwatchable by Warner Brothers, so they cancelled it, and you expect her and Andy Muschietti to work on Batman after their recent flops. Again, Batman is the most popular superhero in the world. His movies make money. You'd want to succeed, not fail upwards, by hiring mediocre talent.
Well, you got me. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
I don't know why James Gunn made this decision. Maybe because she's a friend of his. And if that's the case, then that's not fair to anyone who is deserving and has the capability of writing a freaking Batman film. We also have Gunn defending her after the backlash, and he responded,
Unless anyone muggling Christina Hudson's screenwriting skills has almost certainly never read an actual screenplay by Christina Hudson. She's one of the writers who was with us early in the DCU's planning stage. I don't think you can judge my writing based on films others directed, as massive liberties are sometimes taken.
Again, no one's blaming Christina Hudson for The Flash failing. Like, people need to realize that you don't need to read her screenplays. To know that she has been a part of truly awful films, she still took part in making those movies. I don't care if she's part of the early stages of making the DCU, even though you're completely deviating from that plan. So please, tell me. I don't remember a Man of Tomorrow movie, or a Clayface movie, or a Jimmy Olsen show in the Gods and Monsters slate.
Whoa, I think I just figured something out, Beavis. What? This sucks.
If you want someone to write the DCU's Batman, you would need someone who would bring a dark tone, complexity, serious psychological themes like loss, trauma, and if they're writing Batman, he needs to be dark, gritty, and brooding. These are things that I highly doubt that Christina Hudson can bring to the table. There have been many talented writers or directors who have worked with those writers who have brought those aspects to life. In fact, those same writers and directors have worked on movies that have had dark and serious tones with complex character studies, and from a writing perspective, that's what made them a perfect fit for Batman. These movies were a jumping point that led them into directing a movie of the Caped Crusader. That dark tone and directing style matched well with both Batman, his side characters, and his villains, and the corrupt world of Gotham. They know how to write and handle a very sophisticated world like Batman. And then you have Christina Hudson, who wrote Harley Quinn and Friends, the Bumblebee movie, and The Flash, a hardly jumping point for her to write Batman. Her villains were complete jokes and were hard to take seriously. Her version of Gotham was too cartoony and had both sexist policemen, and you want a writer that can deliver something great. How did James Gunn think that she's qualified? This is such a bland and generic choice. How do you expect the DCU Batman to survive on his own, especially while Matt Reeves is writing and directing his Batman movie at the same time? Honest answer, you can't.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
If it were up to me, I would pick someone like Lauren Lee Frank, who worked on The Penguin, or Drew Goddard, who worked on Daredevil on Netflix. These shows have a dark tone, they take themselves seriously, and are very complex characters, whether it be side characters, antagonists, or the protagonist of the story. In fact, I had Drew Goddard is a friend of James Gunn. Why didn't he pick him instead? But Christina Hudson, come on. There's this growing behavior in Hollywood where they get these writers and directors who are easy enough to control rather than those who demand creative freedom, and they pump up flop after flop. They still get more opportunities to work on other projects than the ones who are well deserving of said opportunities. It's so mind-boggling that they get the same people to work on these projects, and then you get the same results. Maybe she'll surprise us and give us a great Batman movie, but with her credentials, she is not worthy to work on Batman. In fact, I heard that James Gunn might end up directing the Batman movie if Andy Muschietti doesn't return, and oh boy, I don't see this looking too good. But that's just my thoughts on this matter. If you appreciate my concise or don't, please leave a comment, like and subscribe. And as always, stay safe, have a blessed day, and anyways, it is what it is.
You see this all the time at the level of a top producer who, between them or separately, will make flop after flop after flop after flop. I'm not going to name them, but I know who they are. And they're not all American either. And they still get paid huge sums of money for being in films that nobody wants to see. And producers make pictures out of which they take enormous sums of money. And the films, again, are not films people want to see. They're always going to blame somebody else. Always. Not their fault. No, you were the one who said, or whatever. And there's a word for that. It's called upward failure. You see it all the time.
It is what it is. It is what it is.